Now I'd like to talk about iPhone. A couple of you may have been expecting this. That this year we're going to replace the iPhone 5. And we're going to replace it with not one, but two new designs. This allows us to serve even more customers. And to tell you all about these two new incredible designs, I'd like to invite Phil Schiller up. Phil?
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm really happy to be here because I have the great honor and privilege to introduce these two new iPhone products to you. And the first one is called iPhone 5C. This is iPhone 5C, and it's really stunning. An incredible new color design. It delivers on color throughout the product, every detail, the volume buttons, the switches. The entire back and sides are made from a single part, and the front is one glass multi-touch surface. As close as you look, you won't see seams or part lines or joins. It's absolutely gorgeous. And when you turn it on for the very first time and iOS 7 runs on the new iPhone 5C, you'll see how incredible they look together. The vibrant icons, the color-matched wallpaper, the way the translucency brings color to the surface, and it creates an entire experience of color. And the experience just doesn't stop with the phone design and the software. The team has created a really cool line of custom cases specifically for the iPhone 5C. They're made of a soft feel silicone rubber, they're microfiber lined, and they've designed areas like around the camera and flash where the color of the iPhone shines through. In fact, as we look down it, you're going to see these cool circular cutout patterns. So you get this amazing combination of color between the iPhone 5C and its case. And you can combine them in really amazing combinations to create the exact look that you love. It's absolutely beautiful. And when you pick up and hold the iPhone 5C for the first time, you're going to be blown away about the quality of it and how rigid and great it feels in your hand. It's made of a hard-coated polycarbonate material that's ideal for this incredible color. But it's more. Inside, it's built with a new construction method that uses a steel-reinforced structure. It provides incredible rigidity. It also serves a dual purpose as part of the antenna system, so it's really smart. It surrounds a beautiful 4-inch Retina display with integrated touch layers so the colors feel like they're right sitting there on top of the glass. It has a gorgeous range of colors and is awesome for your photos and your videos. Inside, it's powered by an Apple-designed A6 chip that gives great performance and great battery life. In fact, the battery inside the iPhone 5C is slightly larger than the battery was in the iPhone 5 before it. It has the world's most popular camera, the 8-megapixel iSight camera, with its backside illuminated sensor, 5-element lens, hybrid IR filter. It takes great photos. And it uses that new camera app that Craig told you about that has all these great features, as well as these live inline photo filters while you're taking your photos and zoom while you're shooting your video. On the front side, it's got a brand new FaceTime HD camera that's even better in low light scenarios. It's got bigger pixels, better backside illumination. And it works with this new FaceTime audio feature. In iOS 7, you can make calls that are crystal clear using FaceTime. The iPhone 5C supports more network bands than any phone we've made yet. In fact, it supports more LTE bands than any other smartphone in the world. It has download speeds up to 100 megabit per second down, has dual band Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth 4.0. It runs iOS 7, and running the apps in iOS 7 on this beautiful color design is just an amazingly great experience. So this is iPhone 5C. It comes in 5 colors: blue, white, pink, yellow, and green. It starts with a large 16 gigabyte configuration at a price of just $99. As you can see, 32 gigabytes for $199 is on a typical US carrier 2-year contract. These gorgeous cases, there are 6 colors to choose from, are just $29 each. And we think customers will get more than one and change the look of their iPhone whenever they feel like it. We work really hard to make sure these products are designed in the most environmentally friendly manner. They're arsenic-free display glass, mercury-free displays, BFR-free, PVC-free, yes, and Android-free. This is the iPhone 5C. We have a video to tell our customers a lot more about it.
The iPhone 5C is in many ways the distillation of what people love about the iPhone 5. It's simpler, more essential, yet it's more capable and certainly more colorful. We believe the iPhone is an experience that's defined by hardware and software working harmoniously together. We continue to refine that experience, dramatically blurring the boundaries between the two, making it more powerful, more intuitive, and ultimately more useful. iPhone 5C is beautifully, unapologetically plastic. Multiple parts have been reduced to a single polycarbonate component whose surface is continuous and seamless. I think that designs with a real coherence are the result of developing form, material, and color in unison, each element informing and in many ways defining the other, creating a significant and a meaningful design. Just as with its appearance, we took the same fanatical care with how the iPhone 5C feels in your hand. That sense of quality and integrity that's synonymous with the iPhone. That meant developing the design by creating a whole new structural architecture. It starts with a single piece of polycarbonate, into which we install a steel reinforced frame, creating a bespoke assembly that doubles as an antenna. We then add the rear plate. We then machine holes for the buttons, ensuring perfect alignment. And then the entire assembly goes through multiple finishing processes, including a clear lacquer hardcoat that creates a durable and incredibly glossy surface. This whole process culminates in an extraordinarily rigid structure and a solid, dense feel that you would not expect from a plastic product. From the beginning, we wanted to design cases as colorful and as well made as the iPhone itself. The soft, matte, microfiber-lined silicone is a very intentional contrast to the glossy, hardcoat finish of the iPhone. The result is a case that extends and complements the product while offering dozens of colorful combinations.
iPhone 5C is built on a foundation of features that people know and love. Like the beautiful 4-inch Retina display, blazing fast performance and console-level graphics from the A6 chip, the 8-megapixel iSight camera, and an impressive battery life. And now, we've added more LTE bands than any other smartphone in the world. And we've given it a new FaceTime HD camera for even better FaceTime calls and self-portraits. Beyond that, it comes with iOS 7, which includes new features like Control Center, AirDrop, and iTunes Radio. Combined with a ton of other great features, iOS 7 creates an experience that's even simpler, more useful, and more enjoyable. iOS 7 is designed to complement the iPhone 5C beautifully. The wallpapers are color-matched to the exterior, and the translucency inherent in iOS 7 carries this color through everything you do. This is just another great example of how we design and engineer our products in concert. It really is the only way that we believe provides the right experience.
I think it's quite remarkable when something feels familiar and yet it's new at the same time. That's the iPhone 5C. It's the vivid realization of hardware and software together in one device.
The second is called iPhone 5S. This is iPhone 5S. It is made of a high-grade aluminum with diamond-cut chamfered edges, perfectly matched glass inlays. The team has carefully considered every detail to make this the most beautiful phone ever made, and it is the gold standard in smartphones. It comes in 3 metal finishes: silver, gold, and a new space gray. And there are so many innovations inside it. I'm going to tell you about 3 major ones today. The first is performance. We all want great performance in our devices. And it's even hard to remember the old days where performance meant big processing cards and graphic cards and power supplies and fans. That defined computing performance. But thank goodness we've moved beyond that. Now customers want great performance that fits in the palm of your hands and you can take with you everywhere. And the iPhone 5S is a huge leap forward in mobile computing performance. It starts with a brand new system on a chip from Apple called A7. A7 is 64-bit. This is the first ever in a phone of any kind. I don't think the other guys are even talking about it yet. Now, the PC world went through a transition from 32-bit to 64-bit, and it took years. Today, you're going to see that Apple is going to move the system forward, the mobile computing system, from 32 to 64-bit in one day. We're going to do it by great new hardware, amazing operating system advancements, and all new applications. So let's talk about the hardware. The A7 chip, this is remarkable. It is a 64-bit desktop-class architecture. That means we can use a new modern instruction set, an ARM instruction set that's more efficient than the others use. It has a lot of great technology in it. The number that just stands out above all else, it has over 1 billion transistors in it. And this fits in a die that's about the same size as the previous generation A6. It's about twice as many transistors. It's remarkable. Now, you've heard a lot about iOS 7, but what we haven't told you yet is it's also been completely re-engineered for 64-bit at the same time. It has 64-bit kernel, libraries, and drivers. And all the apps that come with your iPhone 5S, they've been re-engineered to 64-bit as well. And this will be an easy transition for developers as we've updated our tools with Xcode to support 64-bit, so they can make 32 and 64-bit apps easily. And this is seamless for customers because it's completely backwards compatible with all your existing 32-bit applications. And it runs the 32 and 64-bit applications side by side transparently. You don't have to worry a thing about it. Why go through all this? Because the benefits are huge. The A7 is up to twice as fast as a previous generation system at CPU tasks. And it's up to twice as fast at graphics tasks as well. And the jump forward in performance by our team here is incredible. We had fun making this chart. CPU performance from the first iPhone to now the new iPhone 5S. It's increased 40 times. What's striking looking at this chart is half of that performance comes today with the iPhone 5S. And it's even more with graphics. It's increased 56 times since the original iPhone. Again, half of that coming today with the new iPhone 5S. I hope you're blown away. I am. That is a level of graphics and performance you have never before seen on a mobile device. It's due to this incredible new software running on this amazing A7 chip. But that's not the end of the story in the architecture. There's more to it. We have a completely new part in the iPhone. We call it M7. And it works alongside A7. It is a motion coprocessor. So what does that do? Well, it takes advantage of all these great sensors and it continually measures the data coming from them without even having to wake up the A7 chip. It measures from the accelerometer, the gyroscope, and the compass. And with new software and applications, you're going to get a whole new level of health and fitness solutions never before possible on a mobile phone. We're updating our Core Motion API inside iOS 7 to read this data and provide it to applications. And it can characterize and analyze the data to tell applications whether you're stationary, walking, running, driving, and provide that to enable you to take applications to help you make life more fit and healthy. And we've been working with developers to do this, and they're doing some amazing work. I'd like to tell you about one of them, Nike. The great team at Nike is creating a new application called Nike Plus Move. It's all about helping athletes stay motivated to be fit and active throughout their day. It uses the new M7 chip and Core Motion API as well as GPS to help keep track of the kind of activities you're taking part in throughout the day and where you're doing it. It gives you Nike fuel points and lets you compete with friends over Game Center, all in service of having you have a more healthy and active lifestyle throughout your day. It's really cool. So, A7, M7, a lot more performance, a lot more graphics, motion data. What about battery life? We're really happy to tell you the team has done a phenomenal job. They deliver battery life that's equal or greater than the iPhone 5 had. 10 hours 3G talk time, 8 hours 3G browsing, 10 hours LTE browsing, Wi-Fi browsing, video playback, 40 hours of music listening, up to 250 hours of standby. So that's the first of our breakthrough new technologies in the iPhone 5S. A 64-bit class architecture and incredible performance of A7 and M7. Second, the camera system. People love taking photos with their iPhones and its iSight camera, and it does a phenomenal job. And we want it to get smarter and better at helping us take phenomenal pictures. It used to be the way you take better pictures is you learn to be a better photographer. You get bigger cameras, bigger lenses, you learn about all the techniques of light meters and gels and filters, and you can spend your lifetime studying how to take advantage of this and make it work for you. And for the people who want to do that, that's great. But for most of us, we just want to take a picture and have the iPhone take a better picture for us. And we have some huge advancements in technology with iPhone 5S to do just that. First, it starts with the hardware, a new camera system. We have a new 5-element Apple-designed lens that has a larger f2.2 aperture, lets more light onto the sensor. We have a new sensor as well that has a 15% larger active area. Now, our competitors would just pack more pixels on that, make them ever smaller and cram them closer together to get some stat on a spec sheet. That's not what we do. We know a secret. We know it's actually bigger pixels that make a better picture. And the pixels on this sensor are 1.5 microns in size, larger than the iPhone 5, and much larger than most competitive phones. They often have 1.0 or 1.1 micron size pixels. But with a bigger pixel, you let in more light, get a better dynamic range of color, and less noise in the image, all to make a better photograph. The new software in iOS 7 has been designed to take advantage of this new sensor as well as the image capabilities of the A7 chip, which are remarkable. So let me give you an example of some of the things this new camera app is doing automatically for you. When you launch the camera app, before you even take a picture, it's automatically setting white balance, getting the right colors for you. It's automatically setting the exposure level to get the right brightness level. For the first time, it's creating a dynamic local tone map around the image so it can get better highlights and shadows in the image. For the first time, it's doing autofocus, matrix metering with 15 focus zones. This is DSLR level stuff to get a sharper image. And then when you do take a picture, unbeknownst to you, it actually takes multiple photos. It instantly analyzes them in real time for which is the sharpest, and that's what you see on your screen. It is completely automatic and much smarter and more capable than ever before. And it doesn't stop with that. It has a new flash as well. We call it the True Tone Flash. When you take a flash picture, I'm sure many of you know that the ambient light, whether you're outside or in a room, varies in its color temperature. For example, a fluorescent light is cooler or bluer, an incandescent light is warmer or more amber. Whatever color your flash is, it's going to clash with the color of the lighting in the room and give you a photo that doesn't look quite right, especially skin tones because skin is so reflective. Well, the flash in the iPhone 5S solves for this. It actually has two LEDs, one a cooler white one and another a warmer amber one. And in real time, it analyzes the scene and can present a color flash of over 1,000 color variations to give exactly the right color flash for the room or situation you're in. This is the first time it has ever been done, not just on a phone, but a camera of any kind. It's truly a breakthrough. So before, using a phone that has a camera with a single LED, you might get a photo like this. You see it has a warm incandescent light. The skin tones don't look right at all. The wood table looks too orange. The jeans are too blue and not right. And that's really hard to fix later with editing. And this is an unretouched photo right off the iPhone 5S in the same scene. You see much more natural skin tones. The wood table looks great. That's one of the great new features in the camera system. Here's another. For the first time in the iPhone, auto image stabilization. We've all run into situations like this. In a room, maybe a little bit less ambient light, the subject is moving, it needs a long exposure to get a picture, but that means you're going to blur in your photo. So this isn't a keeper, you've got to get rid of this photo. But in the iPhone 5S, you get a much sharper image in the same situation. What is it doing? It actually, with a single press of the shutter, takes multiple photos and is able to combine them for the right exposure level, but select the parts of the image that can be sharpest on that short exposure time, all done instantly in real time. Here's another great feature of this camera system, a fun new burst mode. So when you go to take your picture, if you hold down on the shutter button, it'll burst a bunch of photos. It can actually take 10 frames a second for as long as you hold your finger on the shutter. So it can work like this. So in 2 seconds, we just took 20 photos of that scene. Now, this is great for action shots, or maybe you're just taking a still of some kids that are fidgeting and moving around. Now, if every time you did this, you had to go into your camera roll and sort through all those photos, well, the fun would be lost. But the team has done a brilliant job. Using the A7 chip, in real time, as you took those photos, it analyzed them for a number of variables. It checks on exposure, sharpness, whether there are faces in the scene, whether they're smiling, whether they're blinking. And when you go into the camera roll, it presents what it thinks might be your favorite shot out of all the shots. You don't have to select them. You can go inside and select any of the other ones you want. They're all there. But it picks the best one. If it notices a shot like this one that was an action sequence, it'll pick a couple shots to represent the major motions in the action, so you have a few photos from that whole series, all done in real time automatically. One more great camera feature I want to tell you about, slow-mo. So we have a video camera you can select in the camera app. We have a second one called a slow motion camera. You select that one, and then you can create scenes with slow motion, like this. What the iPhone 5S does in that situation, it's capturing HD video at 720p at 120 frames a second. The third feature is all about security. Now, we have so much personal information on our devices that we want to protect. I miss the old days when documents were actually paper and you could lock them up in places and protect them. But we know that's not the world we live in anymore. We have so much of our personal life on these devices, our contacts, our emails, access to our accounts, our photos, and they're with us everywhere we go. So we have to protect them. The most common way, of course, is to set up a passcode. Simple 4-digit passcode, or a more complex one if you want. This is something you do dozens of times a day to unlock and get access to your phone. Unfortunately, some people find that's too cumbersome and they don't set it up. In fact, in our research, about half of smartphone customers do not set up a passcode on their device. And they really, really should. That's why the team has worked so hard on a brand new technology to make this easy and fun to do. And it's called Touch ID. Touch ID uses a key you have with you everywhere you go, your finger. And more specifically, your fingerprint, which is unique to each of us. It reads your fingerprint at an incredibly detailed level. And that's because of a brand new sensor called the Touch ID sensor. It's a touch capacitive sensor. It's super thin, 170 microns thin. It's just thicker than a human hair. Yet it's very high resolution, 500 pixels per inch. It scans through the outer layers of your epidermis right to the inner live layers to get a better image of your actual fingerprint. You can teach it about more than one finger if you want, maybe use it right-handed and left-handed. And no matter what orientation you use to train it, you can turn your finger and don't have to worry about it because you can read it any orientation. But probably one of the most brilliant things the team did was where they put this new sensor. Right into the home button that we use all day long. This is really smart. The home button still has a tactile switch just like before, so it works the way you're used to. But it also now includes the Touch ID sensor. Around it is the stainless steel detection ring. So the sensor knows when to read your fingerprint just by the fact that your finger's on the button. You don't even have to click it. On top of it, it's protected with a sapphire lens. It's hard, and it also provides a better image down on the Touch ID sensor. Now, Touch ID has been built deeply into iOS 7. And the team has made it really fun and easy for you to teach your iPhone 5S about your fingerprint. And once you do, you can simply touch the home button to unlock your phone. And it's something that's a joy to do all day, every day, and leave on always. And since it's built in, the team's also figured out how to use it to make iTunes purchases, which of course has a different passcode, but you can just use your same finger to authenticate music, applications, books, TV shows, and movies, all with just a touch of your finger.
iPhone 5S is our most refined iPhone to date. It is meticulously designed, engineered, and crafted. But it's the remarkable innovation inside the iPhone 5S that sets a new precedent. It's not just rampant technology for technology's sake. Every single component, every process has been considered and measured to make sure that it's truly useful and that it actually enhances the user's experience. This care, this consideration extends to how we protect all of the important information that you actually carry with you on your iPhone. It's what led us to create Touch ID.
Your fingerprint is one of the best passwords in the world. It's always with you, and no two are exactly alike. So it made perfect sense to create a simple, seamless way to use it as a password. With just a touch of your home button, the Touch ID sensor quickly reads your fingerprint and automatically unlocks your phone. You can even use it to authorize purchases through our stores for music, movies, TV shows, apps, and books. Setting up Touch ID to recognize your fingerprint is easy, and every time you use it, it gets better at reading your print. It can read multiple fingerprints and read them in any orientation. The technology within Touch ID is some of the most advanced hardware and software we put in any device. The button itself is made from sapphire crystal, one of the clearest, hardest materials available. This protects the sensor and acts as a lens to precisely focus it on your finger. The steel ring surrounding the button detects your finger and tells Touch ID to start reading your print. The sensor uses advanced capacitive touch to take, in essence, a high-resolution image of your fingerprint from the subepidermal layers of your skin. It then intelligently analyzes this information with a remarkable degree of detail and precision. It categorizes your print by one of three basic types: arch, loop, or whorl. It maps individual details in the ridges that are smaller than the human eye can see, and even inspects minor variations in ridge direction caused by pores and edge structures. Touch ID uses all this to provide the most accurate match and a very high level of security. All fingerprint information is encrypted and stored inside the secure enclave in our new A7 chip. Here, it is locked away from everything else, accessible only by the Touch ID sensor. It's never available to other software, and it's never stored on Apple servers or backed up to iCloud.
Touch ID defines the next step of how you use your iPhone, making something as important as security so effortless and so simple. We believe that technology is at its very best, at its most empowering, when it simply disappears.
So that is Touch ID, the third of our forward-thinking technologies in the iPhone 5S. It has the new A7 chip with its 64-bit desktop-class architecture, the all-new EyeSight camera system with its True Tone flash, and dozens of new features that make picture taking better and easier than ever, and Touch ID, deep integration of security features based around your fingerprint. Throughout this, you've heard about iOS 7 in ways you haven't heard before. In addition to all the great user experience and great features, now you know that iOS 7 has also been created to fully support iPhone 5S with a 64-bit architecture, and integration of Touch ID at a deep level of the system, and all that camera capability with the image processing in the A7 chip. This is our most forward-thinking phone yet. Is the iPhone 5S, again in silver, gold, and space gray. It starts with a 16-gigabyte configuration at just $199, 32 gigabytes at $299, and a massive 64 gigabytes at $399, again on a standard 2-year contract. In addition to that, the team has made a set of cases that fit the character of this phone so well. They're leather cases, dyed in these 5 gorgeous colors, just $39 each, and there's also a beautiful product red one as well. It's really great. Like all of our products, it's really important that we design iPhone 5S to be environmentally friendly. Others don't talk about this, but we're going to continue to because it matters so much. Arsenic-free display glass, mercury-free display, BFR-free, PVC-free, and highly recyclable with its high-grade aluminum and glass. So now you've seen our 2 new phone lines, iPhone 5C and iPhone 5S. The 5C in these gorgeous new colors, 5S, these beautiful metal finishes and packed with these forward-thinking technologies. The 5C starts at just $99, the 5S at $199. We're also going to keep a model of the iPhone 4S, an 8-gigabyte configuration in the line. Many carriers will be offering that for free with their 2-year contracts. So this is the first time we're launching and rolling out 2 new lines of iPhone. So how are we going to do that? Well, starting on Friday, September 13th, that's this Friday, you'll be able to order the iPhone 5C, pre-order it online. Then a week later, September 20th, you'll start to be able to purchase both the iPhone 5C and the iPhone 5S in channels. In the United States, Australia, Canada, China, France, Germany, Japan, Singapore, and the United Kingdom. This is the first time we've been able to launch an iPhone at the start of the other countries in China, and we are so proud of the work that the team has done here in the US and in China to make that possible. It's really great. And in Japan, we're going to launch with our great friends at SoftBank and KDDI, and also for the first time with NTT Docomo. By the end of the year, we're going to work hard to bring it out into 100 countries and over 270 carrier partners around the world. So that's iPhone. Let me turn it back to Tim.
Thanks, Phil. These iPhones are packed with remarkable technologies, but we've done that in a way that really matters to people, making things easier and better for our users. We don't just pack in feature after feature. Instead, we think deeply about what kind of experience we want to create and then create technologies that enable that experience. It's really an amazing set of products. iOS 7, the biggest change to iOS since the original iPhone. iPhone 5C, an advancement of iPhone 5 with an entirely new design that feels great in your hand and color done in a way that only Apple could do. iPhone 5S, the most advanced iPhone ever, with our most forward-thinking technologies. Now, we prepared a few ads because we're so excited about the new iPhones and iOS, and I've selected one this morning, and I'd like to play it for you.
Hey!
Hey, ça va?
Hi, Patsy.
Guten Morgen.
This is the captain.
Mera bhai.
This who I think it is?
Okay, it's got to be really fast. I've got 1 second.
Hey, guess who?
Whoa, Eduardo Lucas.
Jumbo.
G'day, come on.
Dude.
Oh my God, no.
This is Dr. Flamenco.
Mr. Mojito.
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
Let me talk.
Look nicht. Look da, boy.
Por favor, stop calling me. Oi, mãe.
How they looking?
Hello, mama, namaste.
No way.
Wait.
Ciao, Nini.
Bonjour. Привет.
Wrong number?
Salon.
What?